this isn't the video that I actually had planned for today, but I posted a picture the other day of me wearing a new cardigan, which so many of you seem to like, that I figured I should just sit down and share with you some of my more recent luxury purchases, which I have to tell you, every single piece here was really consciously curated. As I have been telling you, I am trying to be a more conscious consumer, and I know that every single piece here I will get my money's worth out of. Well, I might have just spoken too soon because there's a piece here that I have not actually tried yet, but I know that if it fits, it is something that will become an essential part of my collection. So let's hope it does. And without further ado, if you'd like to come along and unbox some new luxury purchases with me from some of our favorite brands, including Hermes, Celine, and even Bottega, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. Why don't we start with the piece that has sort of inspired this video, which is a new piece from Bottega, a piece that's no longer in here, but I did actually film myself unboxing it because I was so obsessed with the packaging. But long story short, it's something that I came across, I want to say about a month ago. I was randomly at Bottega browsing and I saw this cardigan, which I just fell in love with. I love the design, but when I looked at the price, I was really quite shocked because I thought it was really overpriced for a piece of Bottega. I'm not saying that it's the most expensive piece of knit that I have ever bought or that I have ever seen, but for Bottega, I genuinely thought that it was quite overpriced, so I put it back on the rack and left. I didn't think about it twice until I went to Madrid and I found a really beautiful cardigan from Chanel, which I told you I was considering buying, but even when it arrived in a larger size and they told me that it's here, I went to my local Chanel boutique to try a similar cardigan. My local Chanel boutique didn't have the exact same one, but I tried a similar cardigan in size 44 and it was still too small. So I knew that that Chanel cardigan was unfortunately out of the picture, even though the Madrid store was kind enough to let me know when it actually became available. So as I was trying to find an alternative or thinking about what to buy instead, because I now had my heart set on a cardigan, I suddenly remembered this cardigan that I had seen at Bottega, which compared to a Chanel cardigan was quite a great deal. I mean, it's still really expensive, but compared to the Chanel one or even pieces that I have bought from Hermes in the past in terms of knits, wasn't too ridiculous. So that's how I ended up justifying the price, and I'm so glad I picked it up because it is an incredibly unique piece, which is this cashmere cardigan. Now, this is not that kind of really soft, buttery plush cashmere that you're used to. It's quite a heavy full-bodied cashmere, and I think it is 97% cashmere, and then there is a little bit of elastin in here, which I can kind of feel. I mean, it is really soft, but it is slightly scratchy, I have to be honest, but I think it is something that will wear beautifully because I have been wearing this for the past few days around the house and I'm not seeing any pilling or any sort of fraying just yet, which I mean, you shouldn't with luxury pieces, but I think because this cashmere is so thick and so sort of dense, I think it's something that will last beautifully. But anyway, it wasn't really the texture that made me pull the trigger, but it was these incredible details. So this cashmere cardigan features these beautiful, really heavy, chunky metal knot fastenings, which are of course really iconic to the house of Bottega, and it's actually a detail that they are using on several different pieces this season. So there are sweaters and there are a couple of other pieces with this detail, but I just love the cardigan and I thought this is something that I could also wear as a jacket because it is, as I mentioned, quite thick. I mean, I wouldn't say that it is chunky, but it is a heavy piece. It's not light. It's not one of those soft second skin pieces that you can sometimes see from luxury houses. This, I think, could really easily work as sort of a throw-on layering piece, which I just really loved the idea of, and that's kind of how I justified buying it, knowing that it's not only going to be a piece of knit, but it's also something that I can layer and wear in a ton of different ways. I can wear this over a shirt, I can wear this over a t-shirt, hopefully in the fall. I mean, it is too cold for that now, but a few weeks ago I could have easily worn this by itself, just over a t-shirt with a pair of jeans, which is what I have been doing when I wore this around the house. And I just think it is a beautiful quintessentially luxurious piece. You know, it is the details that make this piece stand out from the crowd. It's not the labels, it's not really even the texture, it's just the attention to details, the way the color is done, the fastening, and also the finishing is really quite beautiful. And I also loved this shade of navy, which by the way, it comes in two different colors. You can get this in this navy color, and then you can get it in like a beigey kind of oatmeal ivory shade, and they both feature this aged gold hardware, which I don't think that this would clash. Even if you're not a fan of gold, I wouldn't worry about it too much because it has a really nice aged finish to it. So even if you're more cool toned, or even if you prefer silver and white gold jewelry, it's not going to clash with any one of your pieces, because this is not a harsh in your face gold. It's almost like an antique kind of rusty brassy finish, which I think makes it a lot more subtle and subdued. So if you are genuinely a big fan of luxurious pieces that are not in your face but do speak for themselves, this is something that you really want to look into. It is genuinely gorgeous, but do keep in mind that it is slightly itchy. I mean, maybe it will soften over time, but I was kind of shocked that it wasn't as plush as I thought it would be. And if you're not a fan of cardigans, just know that there are also sweaters, not cashmere sweaters, but there are a couple of wool sweaters that they are doing with these button details. But on the sweater, the buttons are obviously going to be on the shoulder up here, which is kind of reminiscent. Do you remember those Bonmont t-shirts that everyone had in like 2015, 2016, which is just simply not my look anymore. So I figured I would go for the cardigan, and also I think it is a lot more versatile. It's something that you can do a lot more with than a sweater. Obviously a sweater you can only wear one way, but when it comes to a cardigan, you can wear this on its own. You can wear this with a t-shirt or a shirt underneath it. You can also wear it as a jacket or as sort of an outerwear piece. So if you are looking for a really multifaceted piece to add to your collection with the most beautiful luxurious details, this I would highly suggest that you give a try. And by the way, if you want to use me for size reference, I took the cardigan in a medium. It is from the women's line. They're only doing it for women, but it's a simple straight cut cardigan. So I took it in a medium, which fits me perfectly. It is a really simple straight cut cardigan. The only reason I didn't go for small, which is what I would go for in menswear from Bottega, actually I probably would go for an extra small, but the reason I went for a medium is because I wanted to make sure that the sleeves are long enough, just because my arms are so insanely long. So I ended up going for a medium, which is the perfect fit, but I would say that it runs true to size. It's a simple straight cut cardigan with slightly dropped shoulders, but it is something that I have been loving. Now moving on to something that I repurchased, it's something that I have gone through, I want to say two of. It is a pair of shoes from Celine. You guys know that I'm not the biggest shoe person. Whenever I find a pair of shoes that are flattering, that are comfortable, that go with most of the things that I own, I usually stick with them. And when it comes to white sneakers, I just go through them quite quickly because I wear them so much, and I tend to prefer all white sneakers that feature a white sole. So I've gone through two of these. Well, one of them was slightly different, but I went through two of these sneakers and I needed a fresh pair. So let me show you these really quick, which now you can buy Celine online, not only on their own website, but you can also get them from Mr. Porter. And then there's another store in France. So it is a Paris-based online store called 24S, I believe they are called, which also sells Celine. So you can find these online, and I ended up buying just the simple, I think these are called the CT04 sneakers. If you're looking for a pair of sneakers that you can dress up or dress down, that are incredibly casual, but I mean, I have worn these with a full-on suit, with a full-on Dior suit, and they look just as incredible. These are definitely something that you should put on your radar. They do these both for men and women, and they're doing them in 4 different colors for the season. They're doing them in solid white, of course. They're doing them in solid black. They're doing them in white with black accents, and then in white with blue accents, but white is my favorite. And then there's also a slightly different shape, which I have also owned, and that one they're also doing in a mix of suede and leather. So I would highly suggest checking out Celine sneakers. One thing to keep in mind, especially if you're going to buy them online, is that they run really big. So I actually had to go down almost a size and a half, 2 sizes even, because I ended up getting these in 41, which is the perfect fit. All my Celine sneakers that I have bought from the new sort of chapter of Celine have been a size 41, even though I'm usually a 42, 42 and a half, but 41 fits me perfectly, and there are no half sizes. So that's just something for you to keep in mind. If you're between 2 sizes, definitely go down and not up. But these I can only say great things about. I should probably unbox the other one too, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray these down with my Hermes protective spray, and I am going to start wearing these because the ones that I have definitely seen better days. But now I can just wear them for dog walks. I can wear them to the gym, not actually working out in them, but just on my way to the gym, because these shoes I love. They are kind of similar. I feel like they could remind you of the Nike Air Force, but there is something just a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more sleek about these than the traditional Nike Air Force, but they definitely have kind of a similar look and feel to them. So if you're looking for a new pair of sneakers, something that genuinely go with anything, these I can only say good things about. I mean, the fact that I have been repurchasing these over and over again says a lot. What I'm realizing is that I probably should have waited to film this until tomorrow, because I'm actually picking up a pair of pants from Hermes this afternoon, which I bought a while ago, but they needed to be tailored twice. We had them tailored once, they came back, they were not perfect, so they had to go back to the tailor. But I have bought another pair of black tailoring pants, which if you've been with me for a while, you know that I buy a couple of pair of really simple black tailoring pants each and every single season. And some people might be wondering, why do you need so many black pants? Well, first of all, these are the things that I wear day and night. Okay, maybe not night, but during the day, these are the things that I wear most often. And to some people, all of these pants might look identical, but I can tell the difference. They're from different brands. They're made of slightly different materials. There are slight differences between each and every single one of them when it comes to the cut and the shape. So the latest addition to my collection is the Singer Mom pants in black wool, which the Singer Mom pants is something that you'll be familiar with. I have unboxed, I want to say, a couple of Singer Mom pants over the years in different finishes, because it is something that Hermes offers every single year in different materials and different textures. I have bought them in canvas, in cashmere. They do them sometimes, they always do them, and this year they are also doing them in black wool, which is quite rare for Hermes to do such a classic style in black. They usually do them in navy or gray or some shade of brown, but because black is one of the colorways for the season, they are also doing them in black for the season. And if you're not familiar with the Saint-Germain line from Hermes, it is kind of their box standard classic tapered fit, more formal trousers that Hermes offers. There's also a matching suit jacket that you can have made bespoke, but the trousers they will do every single season. So if you like a more tapered fit, this is something you want to look into. So I ended up getting them in a size 40. 38 is technically the right size for me when it comes to Hermes trousers, but we could not find them anywhere in a size 38. 40 was the smallest one that they could get for me, so we had to get them tailored. And I'm actually glad that I got them in a 40 hindsight, because I don't think my thighs would have fit into a 38, because it is quite a tapered cut. So if you're looking for a really simple classic pair of pants that you can genuinely wear every single day, do look for the Saint-Germain pants. As I mentioned, they will offer them every single season with slight tweaks and variations, but you can also have these made bespoke if you live near a boutique that offers bespoke tailoring. It's something that is always around, and for this current season it's around in black, which was a very, very pleasant surprise. And last but not least, let's move on to this beast of a box, which I have bought. I couldn't tell you how many pieces of ready to wear from Hermes over the years, but I don't think I have ever seen such an overkill for packaging, because considering what's in here, I really don't see why the box should be so big. But anyway, I don't mean to sound ungrateful. I'm really grateful to be given this packaging. I just think it's a waste. But anyway, I did want to share this with you because it's something that I have not actually tried yet. So my boutique did have this exact piece in a size 34 and a 36, which are obviously the smallest sizes for women's wear, which I could not even dream of fitting into. I don't even think those pieces would fit over my arm. So we ended up getting it in the largest size, which is a size 44. Because the fit is quite tapered, so I'm hoping it's going to fit me, because it is a new sort of puffy jacket. I don't know if it's technically considered a winter jacket. I mean, I guess it depends on where you live, but I don't think this would be enough in the dead of winter, but I was hoping it could tide me over until I have no choice but to pull out my extremely heavy and extremely unflattering Canada Goose jacket, because what I love about Hermes's winter jackets is that they're warm, but they are not overwhelming. You're not going to be swallowed by all these puffy layers, because most of them were inspired by their equestrian heritage. And obviously when you're on a horse, you cannot afford to be restricted by all these layers and look like the Michelin Man, which there's nothing wrong with. If you have the need for it, you go for it. But I was hoping I could find something that is just a tiny bit more flattering, and I'm hoping this is going to be the piece. So let me stop rambling and get into it, because this box is just gigantic. So it is from the women's wear line, which they do puffy jackets for men. There was a cropped style for this season, which I was tempted by, but they only offered it in this really weird kind of grayish green color. It had a really subtle green hue to it in person. Although I am colorblind, this is something that I always say, because you have to take my description of colors with a grain of salt, because it's not the most accurate, but it's kind of like a steel green color with a really slight kind of, it had not an iridescence to it, but it almost had like an oil slick sheen. It wasn't just pure gray. It almost had kind of like a petrol undertone to it. And I actually think that the color name is petrol for the season. So that was something that I considered, but then I saw this in black and I was like, yeah, this is a little bit safer for me, because I know that it is something that I would actually wear. And what I loved about this piece is, first of all, it was incredibly tapered, so I knew that it wasn't going to drown me, and I loved all the tone-on-tone details. So you do have a little Hermes detail on the front here with this silicone patch, but it is completely tone-on-tone. And then you also have the cul-de-sac buttons, which have kind of like a rubbery finish to them, but they're also tone-on-tone. And then the jacket, the reason I think it is so flattering is because of the chevron pattern. So it's not just kind of that street quilting that you're used to, but it has more of a nice shape to it, and then it features a really simple collar. I didn't realize that it didn't have a hood. I kind of wish it had a hood, because when I go on a walk with Pi, and if we're out and about for a little while and it starts raining, I like having the option of a hood, but it doesn't come with one, which I think is mainly because they wanted to keep it as streamlined and as chic as they possibly could, which I really do love. So I'm gonna go and try it, and I hope it fits. I think we ordered it. I was going back and forth. I wasn't sure if I should order it in a 42 or a 44, but I do think we ended up going for a size 44, and I bought it in black. And I think Hermes actually calls this, I think they don't call this a jacket. I think they call it an overshirt, which I can see why. It doesn't have a hood and it is quite thin, but just knowing Hermes jackets and knowing Hermes outerwear, obviously based on the pieces that I have, their pieces tend to be quite warm. So I'm gonna go try it. I'm gonna put in a mug shot here, and let's hope it actually fits. I look like, what do I look like? Kind of like a stuffed ham, not to mention that I can barely move. So guys, unfortunately, this jacket is going to be going back. I guess you win some and you lose some, because this was definitely not a win for me, and there's nothing wrong with the jacket. It is unfortunately going to be going back, because the jacket is beautiful. I love the shape, I love the details, but it was just way too small. It wasn't meant for my body shape. But if you usually buy women's wear and you like this sort of tapered form-fitting shape, I would highly suggest that you look into, because the details are beautiful, the quality is great, and as far as puffy jackets go, this is really quite flattering. It's not something that will make you look like the Michelin Man, but I think it would keep you quite warm. Now, I don't know if this would be enough for skiing or in the dead of winter, but if you just need a jacket to throw on as a nice layering piece, this I think would be something really, really nice to have in your collection. Obviously, it is a more casual piece to begin with, so you can dress it down, but it is kind of not fancy, but it is really refined compared to other puffy jackets. So if you usually buy women's wear, do not sleep on this jacket. I'm glad I ordered it, because at least I was able to share this with you guys, because I would love for you to put this on your radar if you are looking for a great staple investment piece, something that you will have in your collection for a really long time and you will actually get wear out of, because this is the kind of piece that you don't have to baby. This is genuinely something that you can put to work. So make sure that you look into this, but for me personally, it just wasn't something that I was able to not pull off, but even put on, because the back was way too tight. I could barely fit my arms through the sleeve, and then the sleeves were also quite short, which you could probably see in the mud shot. So while it wasn't for me, it is a piece that I really do love the look of. It didn't end quite as I expected, but I'm glad we had some major hits and one miss in today's video, which again, there was nothing wrong with the jacket. It was just a fail for me, but I'm glad I was able to share it with you alongside with some pieces that you'll probably get tired of seeing on me. I really appreciate you guys being here and watching, and I would love for you to let me know in the comment section what was your last luxury purchase. I always love getting a little peek into your wardrobe, so let me know what was your last luxury purchase or what's going to be your next. And while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I hope to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.